I think a couple weeks ago I showed you guys this picture of the sequoia tree in the National Geographic magazine, and a couple of these guys over here, they were climbing up it. There was a guy all the way at the top of the tree. The tree was over 200 feet tall. These are some of the biggest trees that we know of, and they're really wide, really tall. And I guess the question that should be asked is, where is this support coming from? How is this tree that is really tall, very heavy, how come it's not falling over? It's not necessarily that the roots are, quote unquote, strong enough to hold the plant up. It's actually things that are happening inside of the structure of the tree itself. So the first thing we want to look at is cellulose. Cellulose is a type of sugar within the cell wall of the plant cell, and it gives our first area of support for the plant, and it's pretty fibrous. You can see in these pictures you've got all these crosshairs. This picture looks very similar to a muscle cell. Once we get to muscles, you'll notice that muscles are very strong and fibrous as well, so that fiber gives a lot of support. The second thing is something called ligand, and it's a polymer that's in a xylem, and its structure is also very fibrous looking, and there's rings of ligand that are present throughout the entire length of the stem inside of the xylem, and so this is the second portion that can give off support. Lastly, we need to consider turgor pressure. Turgor pressure is going to help keep the plant itself upright, especially the leaves and the stem. Now there's pressure inside of the cell that is going to be exerted against the cell wall by the plasma membrane, and so when you look here, this light blue color kind of going around is the cell membrane, and then this thicker portion is the cell wall. So if water is going to enter into our cell via osmosis, right, going from a higher concentration to a lower concentration, then the cell wall, the cell membrane is going to exert this pressure against the cell wall, and it will kind of get inflated. It will not pop, but it will be turgid. That's what we call it. The cell will be flaccid in an isotonic state where we have reached equilibrium with the water concentration moving in and out, and then the cell may wilt in this picture because you have water completely leaving the cell. So that cell, the cell membrane is not putting any pressure against the cell wall at all, and that's where you see a wilting plant. So go ahead and watch this animation that will follow this PowerPoint, and consider this as we begin to talk about transpiration, or the movement of water throughout the plant, in the next couple of days.